This video is brought to you by Positive Motivation. Before we begin, let me say this clearly. This is not a motivational video. This is a life audit. If you stay till the end of this video, you will not only recognize the people who are silently damaging your future, you will finally understand why your life hasn't changed yet, even though you've tried and tried and tried. This video is titled, 3 Toxic People You Must Leave Behind to Change Your Life. And no, this is not about hate. This is not about ego. This is about survival, growth, and self-respect. Some people don't destroy your life loudly. They destroy it slowly, quietly, politely. They smile. They talk. They sit next to you. And yet your confidence drops. Your discipline disappears. Your dreams feel heavy. If you've ever felt drained after talking to someone, guilty for wanting more, afraid to outgrow people you love, then this video is for you. Stay with me. Here's a truth most people learn too late. Your environment shapes you more than your intentions. You can be ambitious. You can be talented. You can be hardworking. But if the people around you are toxic, your growth will always feel like swimming upstream. The wrong people don't need to sabotage you directly. They only need to normalize mediocrity, question your dreams, drain your emotional energy, and slowly, you begin to shrink. This video will expose 3 types of toxic people you must leave behind. Not tomorrow, not someday, but consciously, deliberately, and without guilt. Let's start with the most common one. These people don't look toxic at all. They say things like, "I'm just being honest. I care about you. I don't want you to get hurt." But watch closely. Every time you share an idea, every time you talk about a goal, every time you feel excited about your future, they respond with doubt, fear, statistics, worst-case scenarios. They don't attack you. They slow you down. They are not evil people. They are fearful people. And fearful people cannot stand someone who reminds them of the life they didn't live. Let me tell you something important. Your dreams threaten people who gave up on theirs. That's why they say, be realistic. People like us don't do that. Why can't you just be satisfied? They don't mean to hurt you, but they don't mean to help you either. They want you comfortable, not powerful. Here's what psychology tells us. When someone discourages your ambition repeatedly, your brain starts associating dreaming with danger. Over time, you stop sharing ideas. You stop taking risks. You stop believing in yourself. Not because you failed, but because someone convinced you that trying was foolish. This is how dreams die. Not with failure, but with constant discouragement. Ask yourself honestly, who is the person you hesitate to tell your goals to? Who responds with silence when you talk about growth? Who subtly reminds you of your limits? That person might not hate you, but they are not safe for your future. In America, success is often built on belief before evidence. Every great entrepreneur, athlete, or leader was once told, "That's impossible. You're not qualified. You're dreaming too big." If they had listened, you would never know their name. You don't need permission to want more. And anyone who makes you feel guilty for dreaming is someone you must distance yourself from. This type is more dangerous because they don't attack your dreams. They attack your emotional capacity. These are the people who always have problems, always need support, always need to vent. And somehow, after talking to them, you feel exhausted. They never ask, "How are you really doing? What do you need? How can I support you?" The conversation always circles back to them, their pain, their drama, their crisis. And slowly, you become their therapist, their emotional trash can, their unpaid support system. Let me say this clearly. You are not responsible for saving people who refuse to save themselves. Empathy is powerful, but empathy without boundaries becomes self-destruction. You cannot build a powerful life while constantly carrying other people's emotional weight. Your energy is limited, and energy is the currency of success. Here's what happens when energy drainers stay in your life. Your focus disappears. your motivation drops. Your creativity dies. Your discipline weakens. Not because you are lazy, but because you are emotionally exhausted. Success requires mental clarity, emotional strength, consistent action, and drained people cannot stay consistent. In high-performance environments, one rule is clear. Protect your energy like your income. Because without energy, you can't think clearly. You can't execute. You can't lead. People who constantly consume your emotional resources without contributing are not friends. They are anchors. And anchors are meant to be dropped, not carried forward. Ask yourself, who do you feel lighter without? Who do you feel heavier after? Your body already knows the answer. Your mind is afraid to accept. This type doesn't criticize you. They don't complain. They simply want you to stay the same. They say things like, "Why are you changing? You're not fun anymore. You used to be more relaxed." What they really mean is, your growth is making them uncomfortable. Because when you grow, their excuses look weaker. Their comfort feels exposed. Their stagnation becomes obvious. So they try to pull you back. Not aggressively, but gently. With nostalgia, with jokes, with emotional pressure. Humans are wired to seek belonging. So when growth threatens belonging, many people unconsciously choose familiar pain over unfamiliar success. This is why people stay in unhealthy relationships, in low-paying jobs, in limiting environments, not because they can't leave, but because leaving means outgrowing someone. Here's a sentence that can change your life. Not everyone who started with you is meant to finish with you. Growth requires separation. Elevation requires distance. And maturity requires the courage to disappoint people who only love the old version of you. If you're feeling uncomfortable right now, that's a good sign. Because clarity often hurts before it heals. In the next part, we will talk about why guilt keeps you stuck, how to detach without hatred, and how your life transforms when you finally choose yourself. This is positive motivation. And this was 3 toxic people you must leave behind to change your life. Your future self is watching. The only question is, will you choose them or stay loyal to what's familiar? If you're still here, it means one thing. Something inside you already knows the truth. You already recognize at least one person from your life in this video. And that realization is uncomfortable. But discomfort is the price of growth. In part 1, we exposed the dream killers, the energy drainers, the comfort zone pushers. Now, in part 2, we go deeper. Because identifying toxic people is easy. Leaving them is where most people fail. Not because they're weak, but because they're trapped by guilt, fear, and emotional history. Let's break those chains. Here's the part no one talks about. Toxic people don't keep you stuck with force. They keep you stuck with memories, loyalty, emotional debt. You tell yourself things like, they've been with me since the beginning. What if I'm being selfish? What if I regret this? And that inner conflict keeps you frozen. But listen carefully. History is not a life sentence. Just because someone was important in your past does not mean they deserve unlimited access to your future. In psychology, this is called sunk cost fallacy. It's when people stay in unhealthy situations because I've already invested so much time, emotions, memories. But smart growth asks a different question. What will this cost me if I stay? If staying costs you your peace, your confidence, your future, then loyalty becomes self-betrayal. Good people struggle the most with letting go. Why? Because they care, because they remember kindness, because they don't want to hurt anyone. But toxic dynamics exploit good hearts. Here's the truth you need to hear. Guilt is often a sign that you're choosing yourself for the first time. And that feels unfamiliar, uncomfortable, almost wrong. But growth often feels wrong to people who were trained to put themselves last. You are not abandoning people. You are ending access, creating boundaries, protecting your energy. There's a difference. You can love someone, and still accept that they are not healthy for your next level. This part is important. When you start pulling away, toxic people don't usually say, "I'm proud of you." They react in predictable ways. Let's expose them. They say, "You've changed. You think you're better now? I was there when no one else was." What they're really saying is, "Your growth threatens my access to you." They want the old version of you back, the one who was available, agreeable, and easy to control. Suddenly, you're the bad person. You're selfish. You're cold. Not because you did something wrong, but because you stopped giving them what they wanted. Remember this. People benefit from your boundaries being weak. When you strengthen them, resistance is normal. They pretend to support you. Do whatever makes you happy, but their tone changes, their energy shifts, their behavior exposes the truth. Support that comes with resentment is not support. Let's talk consequences. Not dramatic ones. Silent ones. Because toxic relationships don't explode, they erode. Here's what they slowly steal from you. Your confidence in decisions, your trust in your instincts, your courage to take risks. You start second-guessing everything. You become smaller to avoid conflict. You delay your dreams to keep peace. And one day you wake up and think, "How did I end up here?" This is how. Now let's talk about what happens when you finally choose yourself. At first, it feels lonely, quiet, unfamiliar. But then something powerful happens. You start hearing your own thoughts again. Your energy returns. Your discipline strengthens. Your clarity sharpens. You don't feel guilty resting. You don't feel ashamed dreaming. This is not selfishness. This is self-alignment. Every high performer goes through a season of separation. Athletes, entrepreneurs, leaders, they all lose people on the way up. Not because they wanted to, but because growth changes frequency. And not everyone can meet you there. This matters. You don't need drama. You don't need arguments. You don't need explanations. Sometimes the most powerful exit is quiet distance. Here's how mature detachment looks. Less availability, shorter conversations, no emotional dumping. Clear but calm boundaries. You stop reacting. You stop explaining. You stop overgiving. And slowly, the connection fades. No war, no hate, no chaos. Just peace. You don't owe everyone access to your future. When toxic people leave your life, something else enters. Space. And space is powerful. In that space, new opportunities appear. Healthier people find you. Better habits stick. Because now, your energy is no longer divided. You are no longer leaking. You are focused, aligned, grounded.
Let's be honest. Most people watching this video will not feel emotional and then do nothing. Why? Because change demands courage. And courage demands discomfort. But here's the cost of staying the same. 5 years from now, you will still be explaining your potential instead of living it. Still dreaming, still waiting, still stuck. Not because you lack talent, but because you protect people who are comfortable with your limitations. Let me leave you with this. If someone repeatedly drains you, diminishes your growth, keeps you tied to who you used to be, they are not part of your future, no matter how long they were part of your past. Choosing yourself is not betrayal. It's maturity. This video was not meant to make you angry. It was meant to make you honest. Honest about who deserves access, who needs boundaries, who must be left behind. This is positive motivation. And this was 3 toxic people you must leave behind to change your life. If this message reached you, it's because your next level is calling. The question is not, who will you lose? The real question is, who will you become if you don't let go?